Hi everyone, hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to allow XRP. Once again, thank you for support, okay? Big of the CoinsKid crew. So right now, XRP is doing incredibly well, isn't it? You know, I'm so glad. Honestly, the temptation to sell my spot position has been really bugging me. I was so tempted at that 160 level. I did anticipate a correction at that level. It was around about 20%, wasn't it? I did actually think we'd have a bigger correction, to be honest with you. I'll hold my hands up. But we never did. We've absolutely pushed through that level of resistance. And right now, we're running to that local high of April 2021, and I'm thinking, should I sell, and things like that. But you know, one thing I've got to do is just kick back, relax, and just respect the data, okay? And this is what I'm going to try and do. I'm not going to try and time it or anything like that. I'm just going to really rely on the data, as many data points as I can find to tell me to flip, basically. And at this point, you know, hopefully I nail it, but if I don't, please don't shoot me, okay? We've done incredibly well so far. It's playing out exactly as expected, this potential third wave, has all the power, the characteristics to take out that that high right there, that 160 level, but it has all the characteristics to take out that level from April 2021 as well. So we've just got to respect it, okay? I'm going to respect the pump, basically. And a lot of people get loads of questions: when sell, when should I take profit, where we're going to hit, blah blah blah, all that. I have my projections, you know, I'll try and do my best, but so far I'm just kicking back. You know, I'm trying to not give in to the temptation of selling this big green candle, which is typically what I do. Okay, the more I see it go up, the more I become, okay, wow, you know, this is where we should be taking profit. And it's niggling me, you know, when do I take profit, when do I sell? Because obviously I would like to swing XRP to buy more back lower, but that's on everybody's mind. So it's a kind of crowded trade, isn't it? Jumping out and jumping back in and projecting to buy back lower. That's what everyone wants to do, because that's typically what we're all used to with XRP. So all I'm going to do is just kick back, relax. I'll try and time it as best I can for you. I've got my projections, I've got my targets. If I don't get nailed, I do apologise, but you know, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to kick back, because even if we do roll over, we will have a retracement, and it's the rollover that gives the clue to whether or not we've entered a bigger correction, okay? You know, at that point, and we've got just a prolonged journey of more accumulation before the actual targets are met right there. So remember, what does go up does come down, so it will come down eventually, but I'm really trying to just not give in to the temptation of selling, basically. So there was a trigger point a few weeks ago that I did relay to you. The reason, and again, data, not emotion or, you know, structure or anything like that, it was pure data. I did relay to you. I made this indicator for you called the retail top. It was in all the videos at the start of November as we were pushing down here. I did say to you, this is a trigger point. This is a warning shot to the Bitcoin bulls that at this point, this is typically, once this spikes down like this is typically where we see the trigger point for a big alt season. And this is why at that point I was converting a lot of my Bitcoin into XRP. That was an amazing decision right on cue. And now we've seen an amazing turnaround, and XRP is up roughly 200%. And Bitcoin's up around about 8%. So that was an amazing decision from myself, okay, at that point. So again, I'm just respecting the data. I'm going to try and just rely on data and find as many data points as I can to sell this beautiful rally from XRP going forward. But you know, I'm going to dive into the XRP chart in a moment with you, but so far there were warning shots in the retail top here indicator, because typically when we do this and start to hover it down here, this is towards the end of the bull run for Bitcoin, where we do start to see these altcoins absolutely surge. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the emergence of these altcoins off the bottom. We've been targeting many coins across the board, you know, that I've been relaying in the Discord right there. And it's not bullshit, it's not hopium. If we go back in time, you can clearly see, you know, look at this time frame here. We start to come down in late November of 2021 with trigger point, get out, and you have your little rally, and then you roll, basically. And again here towards the end of, I think it was April, wasn't it? April 2021 right there. We've got the trigger point, warning shot, alts rallied in this little retracement here. This is where we're seeing an amazing alt season, you know, as it starts to hover down there. Then when we start that big crash to the downside, the retail, you know, buggered off, basically. Our exit liquidity buggered off. So this is all it is. If we go back to this time frame here as well, this is the 2017 top for Bitcoin. You know, you're coming down, you're rounding off like that. You got your rug pull, which is your A, your B, which is where alts go insane. And for a few weeks here, we're hovering down here, where retail exit liquidity is, you know, showing up in droves. And that's exactly what's happened right now. So I do think if I was to just respect this retail top indicator, it would say to me, okay, we're nearing the top of this run for Bitcoin. Not necessarily, you know, it's the beginning, basically, which is what a lot of people are looking at. They're looking at 4-year cycles and things like that. The Bitcoin tops next year. I think we've got all the metrics sort of pushing towards, okay, this top for Bitcoin is very close, and people don't realize it. And this is something we're looking at for a very long time. So I'll dive in a moment, but I'm not selling my positions just yet, although the temptation is obviously there. I do need to see a little bit more data points, because so far, right on the trigger point of this retail top indicator, losing this 2 signal and flashing into the 1, we're seeing it. We're seeing the fruits of the labour. We're seeing altcoins absolutely bolt. We're seeing XRP bolt, and we're seeing, you know, some kind of beautiful moves across the board on these altcoins, and Bitcoin's going stagnant, it's going sideways. Now what I'm looking for primarily is a rug pull on Bitcoin and then the lower high B, which is where you see your massive alt season. So I'll show you a couple of charts today that I'm looking at as confluence of the fact that I don't necessarily think the top's in, although we're getting extremely close to the top here for Bitcoin, and the indicators, the sentiment indicators that are created for yourselves are revealing that. So if I take a look at another indicator with yourselves called the sell the effing rip, this is another indicator that created for the CoinsKid crew. In historical data here, whenever we pierce this line, this is a major topping signal for Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Okay, so at the moment we're sort of turning up. Look at that, we're turning up. So in time, if it does start to really push up and we see Bitcoin break out the 100k and it does incredibly well and it goes on again, just like it did from early November right there into late December in 2017 to 18 cycle right there, then we just need to keep back and respect this next data point going forward. Okay, so I'll try and relay the data point to you, but at the moment I don't necessarily see any reason to sell my spot position on XRP. I'm trying to ride the waves as best I can. I actually got a little bit ahead of myself yesterday, jumped into a bit of a short off micro blocks. We'll take a quick look at that before I dive into the content. XRP was really overextended. It's coming up the stairs, and I probably jumped into a short a little bit too long at that point. Just there, we do have a potential reversal candlestick formation called 3 black crows, basically where each body of the candle is higher than the previous one. So, as a sort of minimal risk trade, you could go short on XRP today, put your stop loss on the pivot eye, and look to ride it back down to retrace some of these levels there before the continuation right there. So, I wish I hadn't the most luck, but going forward, let's dive into a couple of charts before I get to the XRP chart to see what we can see as confluence of the fact that I don't necessarily think the top's in just yet for XRP. So the first chart I'm showing you is the tether dominance. It's the USDT.D ticker on TradingView. You can get to that, just click the link in the video description, go to TradingView and drop it in and have a look. Now what I think we've got here is a 5-wave move in this particular chart to the downside as an inverse correlation to Bitcoin and a 5-wave move to the upside. And we've not quite seen the 5th wave down. So I think the target is actually the bottom here. And this is why, for those people who have been with the channel, they will know I was incredibly bullish on XRP and Bitcoin at that point, because this was a descending triangle. We broke down out of the pattern, basically the flag that's coming back up, which is a corrective flag, broke down, back test resistance, boom, drop in. So the actual technical target, the original technical target out of the descending triangle was met, look at that, and then we saw the big bounce up, and then we're seeing the follow through right now. So the actual technical target of this particular pattern, this bear flag coming down like this, boom, 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 is where we form the flag. So we're not quite there yet. So this is why I do think we've got a little bit more to go in this particular market, especially for Bitcoin and obviously XRP. So I'm looking at XRP just holding that resistance at the moment. As soon as it starts to break through it, I think we're in a potential price discovery moment. And this is something I've been relaying to you for many years and many months. And I do actually think that towards the end of the bigger cycle which Bitcoin's in, this is in fact where we will see XRP make the all-time highs. So I think this is the end of a broader cycle, and I've gone through this with you. And this is the last 5th wave within a bigger cycle, a macro cycle for Bitcoin, which is where XRP will eventually catch up because of the broader cycle and then make the all-time highs. So this is my primary expectation. It's been my primary expectation for many years. So with this, the USD, we broke down in November of 2022. That was basically when Bitcoin bottomed. This was topping. It had a 1, ABC2, at the flush 3, ABC4, and this is the final 5th wave which we're in right now, which is the end and your exit Bitcoin strategy right there. So I think we're near to the end of this bull run, and with that, this is where we will see, if we see a final 5th wave down in this particular chart, we will see a major reversal in this chart, which will lead to a bear market in Bitcoin, and obviously that big bear market and correction for XRP. But until that day comes, this is one of the confluencing factors that I'll look at to determine, okay, I don't necessarily think the top's in there. We're looking at data points telling us, okay, the warning shots here for the top, but we've not quite got the stack up of the multiple data points that I'm looking at going forward. Okay, and obviously it's all about price structure, but as soon as I get the trigger point, I'll relay that message to you. But believe you me, I really do feel like selling XRP because I've been accumulating it and buying it for so long against the crowd and the sentiment and the herd mentality, and I just feel like I'm exhausted with it, to be honest with you, and I just feel like taking profit and walking away. But I'm just going to let the data tell me what to do and not let the emotion get the best of me in this particular market. So going forward, the technical target still remains there. So if it happens, you can clearly see that that's the target, and if we push through, is your final fifth wave to the downside. Your 1, your 2, your 3, your 4, your final fifth wave to the downside. And with this is your blow off topping risk, which obviously includes the all-time high right there for XRP. So what's the other chart that is building confidence to the fact that we've not seen the top of this run where XRP makes these all-time highs? So let me show you the other chart right now, okay? So the other chart I'm going to show you is a Bitcoin dominance chart. Now I've noticed something in this particular chart that's got me quite excited, okay? And again, there's no guarantees to this particular scenario playing out, but so far so good. If you take a look, like I said to you, I think we've got a bearish rising channel here since the green dot, basically, you know, Bitcoin season, and right now we're converting and rolling into altcoin season. From that point there, we've trended above the ribbon. Look at that, beautiful. And right now what we're looking for is to drop below the ribbon, turn it into resistance, lose this channel and drop to the downside, and that's it. You know, you've got the confluence for this particular drop to create the opposite direction for, you know, altcoins, basically, where the Bitcoin dominance drops and altcoins absolutely surge. But what we want to see for this particular scenario to play out, and this is where people get a little bit confused, we need to see this dropping like this and Bitcoin popping. We need to see Bitcoin coming up the stairs and the dominance coming down the stairs. That is your alt season, okay? You will not see an alt season if Bitcoin's dropping and this is dropping. That's bearish, basically. That's basically some kind of bull trap in alts, basically. And I've relayed that to you before. So what you want to see is what we see in every single alt season, which is Bitcoin coming up the stairs. Take a look. Look, Bitcoin's coming up the stairs, going vertical, and the alt season is occurring here. You've got the dominance losing power, basically the dominance falling to the altcoins, but Bitcoin price action going up. Did it just do as well? It was dropping. What was happening? Bitcoin was popping to the upside. And right now, this is what we need to see. We are beginning to lose a bit of dominance, but we need to see Bitcoin turn around, break out, take out that 100k, keep going vertical, and at that point I relay the message to you. Obviously we've got the sell the effing rip indicator right there, and then the drop in this particular channel down here, okay? That will be confluence of the fact, okay, we've got the alt season coming, which we don't necessarily see just yet, okay, because we're getting this drop, but Bitcoin's kind of going sideways. It's a bit crabby at this particular point, so we need to see Bitcoin turn around, continue, and this break down. That is your alt season. That's equally another trigger point that, okay, you were towards the end of the cycle there, towards the end of that big cycle there, and this will be another trigger point. Okay, we're right on cue towards the end of this cycle. Don't quite see it yet. So that's another key data point that we're looking at. So what's the observation that I've made in this particular chart? Well, really simple. The green line in the Bitcoin dominance chart represents the halving date, okay, where Bitcoin, the supply gets cut in half, the miners and things like that, and apparently it creates scarcity, which obviously increases demand, and then obviously supply and demand dynamics, Bitcoin goes up in price because people are willing to pay a high premium. So, you know, if we take a look at the historical times that Bitcoin's done that, within the time frame from the halving date to 30, each bar is basically a week. This is a weekly time frame. Each bar represents 1 week. So within 35 weeks of the halving date in 2016, boom, we fell into the alt season. If we go here as well, we're going sideways in a range, we'll come back up, and within 35 weeks of the halving date in 2020, boom, we fell into the alt season, sorry. So again, if we take a look at this year, the halving date was earlier in the year right there in April. Again, we're pushing to 35 weeks, and right on cue, it looks as though we may be potentially falling into alt season. So right on cue, we get another trigger point and a data point that 35 weeks after after the halving, sorry, we should, you know, anticipate a alt season starting, which right on cue it looks as though it is. So again, it's another data point that if we do start to see a drop in this particular chart, the loss of this channel like this bearish rising channel, the loss of the CoinsKid ribbon, the sell dot, we've got something like that in front of us, which would lead to a massive vertical in, you know, alts basically, and obviously with that XRP. So this is why I'm just going to be patient. Again, that's another trigger point, that's another data point I'm looking for to the top of this market for XRP, and that's my sell position basically. So going forward, you can clearly see just in a couple of weeks here, just a little movement down in the Bitcoin dominance. We've seen a nice move across the board in some of these altcoins. So let me dive into the XRP chart going forward, okay? So look at XRP on the monthly time frame, and again, you know, please remember it's data, not emotion on this channel. If the structure changes within that candle, if we start to see bearish market structure and things like that, I will become bearish, because that's what we do. You know, you just respect the structure, and the price structure is boss over everything. But if I just respect the data at the moment, okay, not necessarily price structure, because I don't see too much price structure to be too bearish at the moment. If I just respect the data, we're doing what we've done before. We've got this beautiful breakout, like I said, to compression leads to expansion. Eventually, you know, look at all this lower level of resistance and higher level of support just there, basically the same as what we did there. Resistance, 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 compression, boom, breakout for no reason. You know, we've done it right on cue basically. So this is what I'm looking at for a very long time, but in a heartbeat the price structure can change, okay, and if it changes then obviously I'll have to project differently. But at the minute, if I'm just relying on the data and the price structure here, I think there's more upside in this particular chart. Like I've relayed to you, I see a vertical in this chart. I've been saying it for many moons. I see compression lead to expansion, and I see a vertical in this chart. And right on cue, on the initial breakout, if we look at that particular breakout, that God candle, it's around about 289% so far, which is roughly what that first break was of the previous cycle. So you can clearly see we ran up, we failed to take that local high out and the all-time high. It was only the next month that we continued to show in the breakout, where we saw the break of that local high and then the all-time high. So in theory, if we are just copying this, which so far we are, and this is why I'm making so much money on the channel, then we should just kick back, relax, and wait for the data point to tell us when to sell, obviously with all the metrics that I'm showing you and the price structure as well. And we should be looking at another fruitful month here for XRP. Obviously we'll have these little corrections, pullback, rug pulls, shakeouts, you know, this is what happens. You reset all the momentum levels and things like that, but in theory we should be looking to go again, and at that point, you know, XRP should in theory be making all-time highs in December, which is amazing. That would be absolutely amazing if we can see that. So, you know, right on cue, we're running to this level of resistance at the moment. Okay, today we see the monthly close for XRP, roughly 10 hours 49 minutes left until that monthly close. It doesn't mean we can't have a little rollback to start December. This is typically what we've been seeing in crypto, the start of the month right there. We've been seeing little pullbacks and things like that. But again, we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin and obviously the dominance and equally the Tether dominance right there. We'll keep an eye on all those charts going forward. But if right on cue, you know, we're just here right now, get a little pullback, consolidate in a range, and then boom, we'll build up momentum again in December to absolutely bust a move and get the hell out of here. And then we've got that price discovery, just like we did in that particular cycle, where from left to right we compressed and broke out, left to right, compress and break out. So I wish I had the most luck, but stay tuned. I will flip bearish at some point on XRP, but at the minute, if I'm just respecting the data and the price structure, you know, I don't see any reason to sell my XRP at this point, okay? But that doesn't mean you can't. It doesn't mean you can take profit and walk away from this market and things like that. That's just me doing me, okay? There is on the micro, I've just shown you 3 black crows right there, which is a reversal pattern, but that's a micro time frame for a little short stop loss pivot eye. Ride it down, you know, into the new month right there, which is typically where we see a little correction in crypto before the continuation in December, where we could, if we're copying the previous fractal, we could be looking at all-time highs here and another God candle pushing up for XRP. Hope you enjoyed that update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.